Hello, everybody. This is Allen Devlin with Atlanta News First. Thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk. Today is Monday, October 30th, one day before Halloween here in the Metro, and it's one of those times when you want to have fun, you want to make sure your kids have fun, but you want to be safe and you want to stay warm as well. So we're going to have meteorologist, I was about to say Fred Campagna. It's not Fred, it's Patrick Pete. He's going to be coming up here in a little bit to walk us through what that Halloween forecast looks like, along with the rest of the days. Until then, I'm going to walk you through some of our top stories here in Atlanta, some of the things we've been covering here today. The first story that I want to talk to you guys about is not that one, actually. It's a different one. It's a unfortunate one out of Midtown, actually, where we were covering a quadruple shooting, I should say, near Georgia State's campus, where two students were involved in that shooting. They were hit, but they had no involvement in the actual violence that was taking place, and that's got a lot of people shaken up on campus at this hour. So this was at the racetrack gas station. You guys know where that is if you frequented Midtown, downtown, you've been around campus. It's a very popular gas station for GSU students. They go there to buy stuff, fill up on gas, whatever it is. 4 people were all shot, including the 2 students. As I said, they all were injured, but they are likely going to be okay, according to police. And it's prompted continued safety concerns on campus, because when you have a college campus in the middle of a metropolitan place like Atlanta, there's going to be safety concerns. But something like this happening this close to home has a lot of students saying, whoa, that could have been me. If I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I could have been hit by those bullets, as these 2 students were. So this evening, there was a listening session in which GSU and police were all listening to students' concerns, while talking about ways that can make them feel safer on campus and whatever comes with that, to make things, feel more safe. Because when you're going to college, you want to worry about your next exam, or that girl or that guy you're crushing on, not necessarily dodging stray bullets when you're just trying to go to and from frequented campus area. So it's one of those things where, my sister is a GSU student. She's been there. She's a senior this year. And that was, one of her things as well, where she's like, if I'm on campus in the middle of downtown Atlanta off not Ivan Allen, where over is that? Over by Big Bethel AME Church, actually. If I'm right over in that area, what's going to make me feel safe? What's going to make me feel like I can be a college kid and not be, front row to some of the city's violence? So we're going to have more coverage on that coming up at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock on Peachtree TV and Atlanta News First. And we will update you guys on what came out of that listening session specifically. The next story I want to talk to you guys about is one that's down south, I guess, for our state, not Florida, but just southern Georgia, the Savannah area. But it could impact us if it's not brought under control. Some yellow-legged hornet nests have been found in the Savannah area, more nests than what we frequently had found. And right now the state's working to eradicate all of them because they are an invasive species and they kill bees, honeybees, which are so incredibly important to our ecosystem. Agriculture nationwide, but especially here in Georgia, so much of our economy comes from, I guess, not just pollination, but from agriculture itself. So take a look at this. These are some of the nest where they found them. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Here's some pictures of them. They are massive, and they're working to destroy as many of them as they can. These are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th nests they found in the area, and these guys right here, the yellow-legged hornets, are hunting down honeybees, which is just not something we want. The yellow-legged hornet, not to be mistaken for the murder hornet that was found back in 2020 and 2021. 2020 specifically, it was first found here, also known as the Asian giant hornet. Both species are a problem because they kill honeybees, but they are 2 separate species. This one just has a little bit less of a menacing name, but that's no issue here in our area yet, at least. But the problem is they want to stop it before it becomes an issue in the Atlanta area or the central Georgia area or the North Georgia area, right? So if you happen to see, and you shouldn't, if you happen to see any of those large nests and those large yellow-legged hornets as well, call the Environmental Services Department, call DNR, whoever it is in your area that can come out and actually eradicate those, because we want and need them gone to protect our state's honeybee population before those yellow-legged hornets continue to spread. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is going to be a story from one of my colleagues, Joshua Skinner, who is speaking to Cobb County officials about an attempt to get drivers to slow down with some mobile cameras, and they're making a special request to the state to make it happen. Skinner can take it away from here.
Look, I don't know when it happened, but at some point everybody just got in a real big hurry. and that's making area roads less safe. But one Metro Atlanta county would like to use speed cameras to keep you safe. It's a calm morning in David Green's nook of Cobb County.
But the afternoons, it's a different story.
In the 46 years he's lived in this exact spot, Green has seen the ebb and flow of traffic have less ebb and more flow.
But it's dangerous. I worry about my wife particularly.
Backing out of his narrow driveway into traffic is no joke. With blind spots galore and a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit, Green says is more of a suggestion. And in his frustration, he turned to the one person he thought could help.
Just Kelly Gambrell.
Gambrell is a Cobb County commissioner who hears about the speeding issue a lot.
We had one individual that was stopped 3 times for going over 100 miles an hour in 1 week.
The Cobb County Commissioners endorsed a wish list to the state legislature last week that includes adjusting state law to allow speed cameras outside of school zones, the only place they're currently allowed.
So this would be a tool that we could use to set up, again, to help with speed enforcement.
It would also be a revenue source, something that's a tough sell to legislators like David Wilkerson, who represents part of Cobb County.
The public safety, I think we're all on board. It's the revenue generating aspect that causes concern.
Meaning expanding cameras outside school zones is unlikely to become law, but everyone knows something has to be done.
I think we all agree on we want people to slow down when they're on these roads.
A long-term solution is still miles away, but in the meantime, Green and his wife will stay cautious and likely stay home.
Yeah, there's a fear of getting out of here.
In Cobb County, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
All about safety first, as always, So, as promised, I should say, I want to go ahead and bring in meteorologist Patrick Pete, who's going to be chatting with us about the weather. Here he is. Patrick, welcome. Welcome on board. Pleasure to have you. All I understand is that I was, just getting ready for work today around like 1 o'clock or so, and my Alexa, by herself, by the way, just randomly came on and she's like, "Hey, Alan, I got a warning for you. There's a freeze warning for Midtown. In effect, I believe it was starting tonight at like 2 a.m. and running into, or at least November 1st, I think. I don't know.
I'm going to break down the details because you're a little mistaken.
Well, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm telling you what Alexa said.
That's why Alexa was wrong, which is why you should tune to Atlanta News First, team of 7, largest team.
That's AI
in the
for
Southeast.
you. AI intelligence leading me wrong. Anyway, bottom line is it's going to get cold, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, see? There you go.
You got the basis.
I'll take it. I'll take it as long as I'm, somewhere right. I got my jacket on. I'll tell you that.
Hey, those cooler numbers, Alan, are already starting to move in, too. Temperatures have been dropping. We got up to 85 degrees not too long ago. Just a couple of hours ago, we were sitting at 85 here in Atlanta, and now those numbers have dropped. Here's a look at where we are. 64 degrees here in Atlanta. You can kind of see where that cold front is, where that cooler air is filtering in. You're looking at numbers like 54 in places like Blairsville, Rome, LJ, 55 in Canton, and just down the street we're a full 10 degrees warmer. Still holding on some milder air in places like Thomaston and Athens and Covington, where we're in the upper 60s, near 70 degrees. So good evening. Happy Monday. I know that it's been a long day. Hopefully you got out. You were able to enjoy temperatures that were in the 80s because, unfortunately, they're not going to get back that warm in the 7-day forecast. We'll get a warm up. We're just not going to get back to as nice as we were this weekend and today. So let's go ahead and get into it because we have multiple first alerts to talk about as these numbers are going to gradually start to cool as we head through the evening hours. So if you have any plans to step out, I know that most of you are probably at dinner right now, but if you were going with friends, make sure that you grab that jacket. The numbers are going to be sliding into the 50s, and by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, I do think that lots of locations will be in the 40s. We'll be near 49 here in Atlanta. There's a low-end chance for a shower. Not expecting that to be a big deal. Should be pretty isolated, but there is a little bit of moisture along this boundary, and that could give us some of that energy. Meanwhile, more clouds and a northwest wind that's going to continue to filter in cooler air not only into the morning, but into the afternoon tomorrow as well. So a first alert in the forecast for your Tuesday. Temperatures are going to be 20 to 25 degrees cooler tomorrow afternoon than the numbers that we saw this afternoon. So just be prepared for it. I know that sounds crazy, but it does take a different approach to your clothing and a lot of your plans throughout the day, knowing that the air will feel a little bit different. I don't think it's going to be too uncomfortable until the evening when the winds kick up and that cooling starts to occur. So I do think that kids that are doing trick-or-treating, that's going to be something that's noticeable. There is a stray shower in the forecast, but that's earlier on in the day. I do think we dry out before the kids hit the road. But as we head into the overnight hours, freeze looks pretty likely. We're talking about temperatures that are going to dip into the low 30s. Even some folks waking up to numbers in the mid to upper 20s in the mountains at higher elevations. So first, widespread freeze possible. I don't think everybody's going to get in on that. I'll show you what I mean by that in a couple of minutes. But the cold air for sure will be something that you notice as you head out of the door. And we're going to essentially do this all over again on Thursday. There's some guidance to hint that we'll be very close to freezing yet again for the start of the day, and the afternoon numbers rebound only into the mid to upper 50s again. So a chilly day all day in the cards for your Wednesday and Thursday. Here's how tomorrow shapes up. You can see clouds around in the morning. There's that boundary. You can see some showers around for some folks for the morning drive. It's not looking too overwhelming, and by around 2 to 3 o'clock, that pushes on out to the south and east. We'll have a little bit of drying time. We'll get some breaks in the clouds that should help clear things up for kids getting out and about later on in the evening. But the bigger story is going to be that wind shift, which we're already starting to see that northwest wind. We're going to see those winds gust 20, 25, maybe even some isolated wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. And that is going to cause it to feel a degree or two cooler throughout all the day parts. Look at that morning drive, number 7, 8 a.m. We're in the upper 40s, near 50, but feeling like the mid 50s. So I don't know about you. I can't tell you the last time that I've had to turn on the heater for my car, but I do think that's something that we're going to be doing the next few days. If you're able to skate by tomorrow without doing that, I guarantee you Wednesday you're going to be doing it, because I'm going to be doing it Wednesday, and I come to work at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So just be prepared for that cool down. The numbers getting into the mid 50s around lunchtime, but it'll feel like 52, and then we'll head towards 60 as we head into the early afternoon. Once again, the bigger thing here is that feel like number will remain in the 50s despite temperatures climbing to 61 degrees. And here is what you all came for. Halloween forecast tomorrow evening. Lots of kids going to be looking to get dressed up as Superman. Apparently Barbie is a big hit this year. And hopefully you've been paying attention to the forecast, and maybe you've incorporated maybe a pink sweater for your daughter for this outfit, or a pink jacket, white jacket, whatever you need to make it pop, because the kids are going to want some sleeves on regardless of what their outfit is. These numbers are going to be chilly. And I'll be frank, this isn't the worst ever. You know, the only thing that's worse than a chilly or cold Halloween is a wet one. You know, thankfully we're not dealing with the rain aspect to this, but we are going to be dealing with the shift. And considering that we were in the 80s today, and we're going to be in the 40s when the kids are out there, or at least feel like the 40s when the kids are trying to get candy. It's something that we want to make sure that we reiterate, we prepare you for, so that you can plan ahead, so that you can make sure the kids have what they need to stay warm. Once again, 7 o'clock, 54 degrees, but feeling like 50. 50 degrees at 9, feeling like 45. So with all of these costumes, you know, a lot of our little ones are very, very light, and they want to have on things that make them fly. You know, just beware that there will be some wind around as well. So all of those things need to go into planning for their costumes. And then, as Alan alluded to, there was some sort of freeze advisory that Alexa mistakenly gave him the wrong information for, which is why you're here with us. Hey, there is a freeze watch that's in effect Wednesday morning from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. as temperatures are going to be tumbling. This is going to be while you're asleep starting, but whenever you get out on the roads Wednesday to go to work, go to school, drop the kids off, whatever your morning errands routines are like, it will be cold. It will be at or below freezing across most of North Georgia. Here's a look at where our forecast is headed for as far as those morning numbers. 24 degrees for the start of the day in Blairsville, 29 in Dalton, 30 over in Rome, the upper 20s in Canton, Carrollton, even down in LaGrange, close to 30 degrees for the start of the day in Griffin, 31 in Athens and Covington, at freezing in Gainesville. Atlanta's typically the urban heat island, and guidance has been having us around 33, 34 degrees. So with that being said, you know, yeah, you'll have to wear the jacket, you'll have to warm the car up, all that good stuff. But more importantly, whenever we start dealing with these early freezes, or these first freezes, these first frosts, the first thing that we want to remind you about is your plants. You know, I'm a plant dad in the making. You know, I have a couple of plants inside, but I have bell peppers on my patio, and this is a reminder to myself that it may be a good idea for me to just go ahead and bring my bell peppers in tonight so that I don't forget tomorrow. So this is that heads up about any of your sensitive vegetation, even plants that maybe are too big. Maybe you're growing a lemon tree or something like that. There are many different ways that you can kind of insulate those while they're outside dealing with this. And because it's the first one of the season for most of us, it's good heads up to remember that. Also, my apartment complex, they sent out all of these tips about, protecting your pipes and all of that stuff. So these are going to be things that you want to do as well. Even if it's something as simple as leaving the cabinet door open as you head into the overnight hours so that warm air in your homes could keep those pipes warm. That's an option. Everybody knows the whole little drip thing that you can do with those faucets. These are all things that we're going to want to remember to implement as we head into Wednesday morning. But this is just that early reminder. I have another reminder tomorrow evening when we talk to you. But that's why that first alert exists for Wednesday, as not only will it be very cold to start the morning, but even as we head into the afternoon, there's not that big of a rebound. So I personally may be making some gumbo. Just depends on, if I can time it right. Maybe one night after work, I'll just, carve out 3 or 4 hours to make me some gumbo before I go to sleep. But this is going to be gumbo / chili weather. Chili's a little easier, so I may just go with that. We're talking mid-40s around 12 o'clock on Wednesday, so good day to bring you some soup to work, or maybe just have something hot. Even as we head into the afternoon, the numbers only rebound into the mid-50s. So we should be roughly at about 70 degrees this week for a daytime high. And we're talking about being on average near 15 degrees cooler than average. So something for you to be noticed, to take note of. It's going to be cold there. It's going to be unseasonably cold. Not the end of the world, but for sure it's going to be impactful, and it will be a shift from the numbers that we've seen for the last 3 days, hence that first alert. Cooling back down as we head into Wednesday night, into the upper 40s, low 50s, but some locations will already be dipping into the 30s. So it will be a very chilly period as we head through, I would say, the next 72 hours. The next 3 days, we're going to be dealing with cooler air really dominating the forecast. But as we head towards Friday, things do trend warmer. We'll get back into the mid-60s, which is still a little shy of where we should be, but it's definitely going to be pushing us more along that road that we are looking to embark on, and then back towards 70. Weekend looks fantastic. 70 degrees Saturday, 72 Sunday. Really a gorgeous weekend. Remember, of course, Sunday morning, it is fall. This is where we fall back. So that's the biggest event that happens this weekend, I believe. And then we trend into the low 70s as we head towards next week. So the 3 first alerts are obviously the big standouts, with the cooler air moving in over the course of the next couple of days, and I hope that you all can prepare for that. Going to switch over to YouTube. I know a lot of you are joining us at home, watching us on ANF Plus, and on our Amazon and Roku, all that good stuff. But there are also some viewers that are watching our live stream on YouTube. Sometimes there's some messages, and we like to make sure that we answer all their questions. But I think this is probably pretty straightforward, and looks like there's no questions. So I'm going to leave you all with the 7-day forecast so that you can, make plans for the cooler weather, prepare for all of the festivities, all of the festiveness that will be your Halloween, and hope that we all stay safe. We actually did a story today about Halloween safety, kids getting out and about, but also more importantly about how a lot of the a lot of fatal accidents where they're actually struck by vehicles happens around Halloween. So for all of the adults that are out there on the stream, this is just a reminder for us all to be a little bit more vigilant. There are going to be a lot of kids around, and we want to make sure that we're just taking extra precautions and letting them walk, let them cross the walk, and keeping their safety in mind first of all. So I'll leave the 7-day up. You guys can screen grab it, do what you need to do, and I will catch you on Atlanta News First at 10. Happy Monday.